let me go ahead and apply. If they want to take me, great. If they don't, that's no problem. I can recycle that essay for for a different opportunity.
I use it
So
again.
so you have to be smart.
Welcome to episode 3 of the New College Mindset. I'm your host, Jerica. Today we have part 2 of our conversation with Nehemiah Abel, a full ride scholarship recipient and graduate of Georgetown University. Guys, on this episode, he shares encouragement and college strategies you normally don't hear. So if you're needing that real world college advice from someone that's done it successfully, this is your episode. Do you have any tips that you would give to a first or second generation college student in your experience? Because you've done it all. I mean, you graduated, you're out there in the world, you're making it happen. So
I think the biggest one is in terms of feeling that you are unqualified. I think that can stop many of us from doing a lot of things. So just because you see, oh, it has to be X, Y, and Z, it has to be all this, just apply. Let the people who are reviewing it tell you no. Just apply. Whether you think you're underqualified, overqualified, whatever it may be, always apply because you never know. So and that's one thing that helped me a lot, especially getting scholarships. I applied. I said, oh, it takes I have to write a few essays. Oh, that's maybe a few hours, but please let me go ahead and apply. If they want to take me, great. If they don't, that's no problem. I can recycle that essay for for a different opportunity.
I use it again.
So you have to be smart. You gotta think smart. That's one thing. And also I'll say, don't be too hard on yourself. I think, and this is speaking to myself as well. I think as first gen, we have the world on our shoulders. We have this much pressure from family, siblings. You have community. It feels like the whole world is on your shoulders, just bogging you down to perform well. Take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health. Know that you're where you are for a reason. You're worthy. You're qualified. You're exactly where you need to be. And it's not by mistake.
So if you guys out there listening, just apply, apply. Let them tell you no.
Yep.
If you could look back on your experience, what do you think are the things that are super important that first and second generation college students should be doing?
Internships. I cannot stress the importance of doing summer internships or during the fall or spring, if you can manage it, of course. That's the way to go because that builds on your resume. Or even looking at some campus jobs that may be relevant to your field.
What campus jobs would you say are kind of good campus jobs to think about?
I would say being a research assistant for any department, whether it's your department, that way you're building on the research skills and getting the intelligence about what's happening there. I was an RA for 3 years, and the RA teaches you a lot, and interviews you can spin it to make it sound one way or the other, depending on what angle you're looking at. So, and I would say any of the centers, whether it's centers for strategic engagement or center for research or center for this, really those opportunities they expose you to one, working on research with the professors or publishing things, or two, you really. Normally those centers are open. They want to engage the community. So you get to engage with people from outside the university as well. So those are some things that I would look into. As a first gen students, make it a habit to get to know your professors. Because this job I was telling you about in terms of being a research assistant or working for some center or whatnot, those won't be easily publicized. It's going to be that you made a conversation with a professor or so-and-so, and then they were able to have an interview. So make it a habit to talk to your professors. Trust me, most of them, I would think, they're doing this because they love it. So they want to talk to you about those kind of opportunities.
Sometimes when you think of campus jobs, you just think, okay, working at the cafeteria or working at the student center, which can be great jobs. But these are really nuanced, which I think are really good. The other question I had too is advice for college students that you think would help them leave college in a better financial state than they were?
So I think for me, it was one during my last year or my senior year of high school. I was like, okay, college is coming up. I definitely can't afford it. Scholarships. And it was one thing that it became almost a full-time job for me. I was applying for scholarships throughout my senior year of high school because I knew that was my ticket. So if you were entering undergraduate, if you were a first gen student, apply to those scholarships. And even when you reach your undergraduate university, keep on applying to different scholarships, because then it puts you in different networks. Some of them are more fellowship based or scholarship one time, but even then it puts you with people that can talk to, and they can help you and again guide you and advise you on how to go about it. So scholarships is one way to go about things.
Were there like certain websites that you went to that you found like were really helpful that you remember? Since you got all this money now.
Not in particular, to be honest. And even then, with the ones online, those are not my personal favorite. Simply because they're getting flooded with applications. I think the best scholarships that you have even a greater chance, I would argue, are the ones that or go off to your career center at the university or your high school. The ones that would say you have to have an interview, do an essay, and do those kind of things. Those that really make you work for it, because then that means somebody actually took the time to read your story and get to know you and say, this person can interview. Let's talk to this person. Those ones I find that you have a higher probability of getting.
Yeah, and you talked a little bit, which I think is a very interesting perspective, like your church. Like how churches are giving out scholarships or book scholarships, or kind of what does that space look like for you?
Yeah, some church do. For me, it wasn't my particular church per se, but they were part of a larger church forum. So they said you can apply to this and see if you have any luck. And I did that as well. So I think for the church, it's really, again, this is where you're trying to build a community. It's talking to the congregation or to people and just to chat. Like I said, it always has a conversation, just to chat to people. What groups are you involved in? Are you involved in Rotary Club? Okay. What opportunities are there at the Rotary Club? And then you go to a meeting or two, which I did, and you find out about an opportunity and you apply. And that's exactly what I did. So this again is all sorts of a conversation, and you being willing to make the next move to actualize and operationalize whatever you want.
Yeah, no, I think this is really good because applying for things that make you work for it. I think there's a lot of scholarships out there that are like no essay scholarships, and everybody's like applying to those. And yeah, that's really probably not going to pan out very well versus if it's a scholarship that does require an interview or does require an essay. I think that's like excellent advice. And do you have any other tips that you would give to a first or second generation college student?
Establish good mentors. That's number one thing. That's one thing that I was fortunate to have a lot of mentors, whether it was my professors or other people throughout my undergraduate, to kind of hear me out, hear my story, and shape and be like, maybe try this opportunity or try this opportunity. So that way they were always looking out for me in terms of opportunities. That's number one.
What's helpful for you when you were kind of going into the space of how to find a mentor, how to approach a mentor?
For me, it was helpful to know what that mentor did, whether it was personally, professionally, or what have you, and could I connect with them? Did they understand me through our initial conversation in terms of my background, my story, my passion? Did they understand me? Whether it was more on the development side or international affairs, or more on the business side. And I was like, okay, we can work with that, and let's really build this relationship. So see somebody that you find interesting, or whatever the work they're doing is interesting, and just reach out to them and have those initial conversations with them. And if you want them to be your mentor, I find that most people are generally happy and open to being a mentor.
Nehemiah, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing with us your story, taking time out of your day because you are super busy. So I just really appreciate it. And I know that your story is going to impact a lot of students because a lot of people have never heard about these opportunities. And so again, thank you so much. And like he said, if you want to reach out to him on LinkedIn, he's totally up for that. And we look forward to talking to you guys on the next episode. Thanks so much.
Thank you.